Alright, I've got your plan open in Chief Premiere, but Pro has all this same stuff, so I'm not going to show you anything that you can't do. I've gone up here and chosen Technical Illustration, and then I've come over here to the 3D menu and toggled Patterns off, and that just gives us a cleaner model to work with. Makes it easier for you to see and for me to see. And then back over here in Plan, I moved a bunch of walls around to try to get them to look more like your pictures here. And so what I've done is I've added a couple. I've added this wall right here, and I've added that wall, and I've added this wall. And then I've set this room and this room to not have a roof over them. It just auto-built the hip roof. And so for the main part of the structure here, I think that's really close. You need the little gable sections, but I think that's pretty close to what the roof actually looks like. If you can go to Google and Google this address and look at the outline of the roof from an aerial view via Google, that will also sort of confirm what this looks like, what the shape is. So, and then the garage over here, I'm going to turn off auto rebuild. And for these are simple to do. I'm just going to select this roof plane. I'm going to put a break in it. And I'm just guessing. I'm not going to try to make this perfect. And we'll just do that. And then we're going to put a break in this roof plane down here. And do the same thing with this one. And then this one's already got a break where we need it, so I'm just going to pull that forward. Come over here and put a break down here someplace. Pull that forward to there. And then I'll pull this down. And so really roughly, in looking at this in 3D, roughly, that's pretty much what you want. Now we need some walls in here. And of course I need to straighten up that and that. And so I'm going to go up to the attic, turn on reference display. And let's see. There we go. Sometimes I don't know what the deal is with reference display. Sometimes it doesn't want to. So now you can see the roof. So I'm just going to get an exterior wall and draw an exterior wall in here. And then I'm going to select it. I'm going to make it an attic wall and say OK. And then we'll look at it. So that's where it needs to be. But what I need to do is select this roof plane and pull it forward some. And do the same thing with this one over here. And so we'll take a quick look in standard view. And so there's your wall up in there. And you do the same thing back here. Exact same thing. Just draw a wall in the attic, make it an attic wall, pull these forward so the attic wall is covered. Those will need to be straightened up. You can see how crooked they are over here. But you can see where you're getting snaps. If you'll watch when you drag this down, you'll get a little X right there, and that'll tell you it's in the right spot. So I'm going to go back over here to technical illustration so I can see. When I auto-built this roof, I almost forgot. I raised it 200 millimeters. Because it was building really low. And it looks like this roof down here is low too, but we'll go back and it is pretty low. So we don't need this roof plane. Let's see. Actually, I think we do. So I'm going to do the same thing here. This has already got a flat spot up at the top, so I'm just going to drag this down. And I'm going to take this roof plane and drag it up. And drag it forward. And this is a little trick. I'm going to drag this up like that. Okay, this has got this little pointy thing back here at the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this edge right here, and then you'll in the edit toolbar. My edit toolbar is up here. Yours is probably still down here in the status bar. You can drag it around anywhere, but I just keep mine up here. There's this tool called Intersect Join Two Lines. I've got that. I've assigned the hotkey of 1 to that because I use it a lot. And if you'll click this, and then you'll click back over here on this back edge, and say OK. You can see what that does is that joined this line and this line back here. So it eliminated that little pointy thing sticking out there. So this roof plane needs to be, bring it over, and you can see again I get that little X right there, which tells me most of the time that it's correct. And so I'm going to break it over here. And up, see it's off. It needs to be out here someplace. And then I think break it in here someplace. It looks like that comes out to that post. Alright, so this roof plane needs to come back, I think, like this. And you can see how I've got that oddball thing. I can do the same thing here. I'm going to click here, click on this intersect join two lines, click right there, and that'll straighten that out. And then we'll see if that won't join to that. And let's see. I'm going to reset this wall to default top height. Say OK. And that fixes that. And it looks like there's a wall we don't need there. I can just delete that. So that's looking pretty good. So what I'm going to do is delete that roof plane. And I'm going to come back down here and go back to the first floor. And then I'm going to pick up this roof plane and I'm going to drag this over to the center. Right there. And I'm just going to copy and reflect about that ridge. And now we've got that gable in the front of that roof. So this needs to be reshaped. So I'm going to put a break right here in the middle. And click on that break and just drag this back. Put another break right here in the middle. And kind of drag it up like this. And then with that edge selected, I'm going to join it to that. Alright, so here again, I'm going to click this edge right here. I'm going to click this tool, intersect join two lines, and I'm going to click over here. And that'll make that all nice and clean there. Now you need to do the same thing here. You'll need a wall right in here. And you'll need to finish up this roof back here. So we don't need that roof plane. And I'm going to select that edge, intersect join two lines, come over here. I'll just pull that back over here, and we'll see if that will join to this. And all that's talking about is that you can see how this gable right here sticks over this edge. So I'm going to undo for a minute. And I'm going to select this roof plane. I'm going to use transform replicate, and I'm going to raise it in the z-axis. So I'm just going to pick it up 300 millimeters. And now when I join that edge to this edge up here, it's pretty close. Looks like you've got a piece of wall here, or this wall. Looks like there is no wall there. So this needs to be broken. So I'm going to put a 3 right there. pull this back. You can see this line across here. That's where this needs to come back to, right about there. So there's your wall. That's one thing about doing, bring this back where it needs to be. That's one thing about doing this with technical illustration. Sometimes you do away with a wall like that and you can't see it. Anyway, that's enough to, I think, get you started. Some things that need to be cleaned up. Roofs just take practice. Let's go back to standard. Like I said, roofs are not difficult if you just think about what you're doing, and they just take practice.